higher Neriah, bringing out the fire. All praise to the one true God, a higher, covered in the blood of his son, Yeshaya. Tap in the cipher, elevate your mind higher. We're gonna build so we can grow, so we can bond. Take a walk with us at the add-on.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Shalom. Welcome to another episode of the Add-On with Ty Neriah. Today I have Black standing in for Ty because he's not here today. So we are going to be talking about the FBA and the Tethers. What that means. What does it mean to be a FBA? What does it mean to be a Tether? How does that affect us as a community? We want to dig into it all. So Black, thank you for being here.
Thank you, sister.
I appreciate you. So let's just jump right into it. Explain to the people who are not familiar what it is to be FBA and what does it mean to be a Tether.
Well, it's an acronym for Foundational Black Americans. Basically, are you a descendant of the Black people who were enslaved in America? And what has happened is, over the years of all this Pan-Africanism, of this we all Black and shit, Black Americans have realized that it's really one-sided. We realize over time that it's really one-sided. They really don't show no love to us. You know what I'm saying? They'll gladly take, spots in HBCUs. They'll gladly take spots in Black fraternities and sororities, and they'll gladly take the I'm Black benefits, but then like for the Nigerians, they'll call you a kata.
What is that?
A kata is a derogatory term the Nigerians have for Black Americans.
Okay.
And I remember the first time I heard that term, I was a kid. It was that Wesley Snipes movie, Sugar Hill. And he was talking to the African dude in the restaurant. He was like, I can't work with the kata. I can't work with the kata. Remember that shit? And then
I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know.
Yeah. Then Wesley Snipes asked him, what is this kata shit? What the fuck is that shit? And then the African nigga said, Black American, cotton picker.
Oh, that went right over my head.
You didn't know? You don't remember that?
I remember the movie, but that went over my head.
Yeah, rewatch that movie. Rewatch that jump.
Wow.
Matter of fact, you don't even got to rewatch it. Just put it up on YouTube. Put in Sugar Hill, a contest scene.
That's crazy. So, but wait a minute. So are you saying that these non-Black Americans, that they are against us? Like, because you're saying like they get the benefits, so are they not putting in any work?
I mean, have you ever seen them accomplish anything and extend a hand to you? Even people who have gone on that pilgrimage back to Africa and all this other shit, they say, man, when you get over there, they treat you like shit. They don't even offer dual citizenship. Like, for example, Israel offers dual citizenship. A lot of other countries offer dual citizenship. But they don't offer a citizenship unless you're coming over there with a bag.
So what now? I do have my opinions about Tethers or whatever, but I just want everybody to get because I know you have a really deep understanding.
The term tether is a new term because what we realized is Africans, they will insult us and act like they're better than us, but at the same time they will pretend to be us. They will if they're in another country, say if they're in Japan, they'll try to pretend to be a Black American. I'm from New York, I'm from Atlanta, they'll try to pretend to be us because we are on a higher level than they are globally. However, they still think they're better than us. Like, for example, when they talk about their education, it's like, have you seen Nigeria? Like, have you looked over there?
Now, this is what I'm going to say, though. If you look at Nigeria, amongst all of the other African countries in there, Nigeria is kind of popping, like, when you're looking at, like, Lagos. You know what I'm saying? Like, their major city. And
what do you consider popping?
They have skyscrapers. They have technology. But this is what I'm going to say. This is my point to that.
No, they don't have technology. Most, are you talking about like the car manufacturing and things of that nature?
I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about the buildings that they have, the way that they are really
All of that stuff
growing.
is being built by the Chinese. It's the Chinese that are building
But
all that stuff. I
but
got I got pictures of the Chinese treating Nigerians like slaves in Nigeria.
But this is the
Okay,
thing. They may be treating them like slaves, but America is treating them like royalty. And this is what I'm gonna say, because
that's not true. That's
In
not
New
true.
York, in New
America uses
York,
them as a buffer class against us.
but that's what I'm saying. That's my point. They're affording them certain liberties that they would never afford us, because they have their own building like that can compare in New York to like a Chrysler building or whatever. And this is a Nigerian building. Since when? And this is in the middle of the heart of New York City. You know what I'm saying? So I think that America is using Nigerian specific against us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
That's
but
I
also it's easy for them to do because they believe that they're superior to us.
absolutely. But do you think
Believe
it
that they're
just stops?
superior.
But does it just stop at Nigerians? Do you think that this for?
No, no, it's most foreign blacks, the Caribbeans, the
Mm-hmm.
Ethiopians, the Somalians. It's a lot of them. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say with the exception of maybe Liberians because them niggas are our cousins.
absolutely. I'm glad
You
you
know,
said that.
you
Yeah.
know, with the Liberians don't act like that because them niggas are basically our cousins. And um, I've never had a South African behave like that. Like I
But
had a conversation.
you know what though? What though? Too black. I had an African Uber driver, right? And I was talking to him one day, and asking him like, why when y'all come here, it seems like there's some kind of hostility, but like with y'all and us. You know what I'm saying? Because
Because
we welcome y'all.
they get taught to stay away from us. I had a Nigerian
Yes.
woman admitted to me that they get taught by their parents that stay away from us, stay to the white people, blah blah blah. They get taught that.
He told me that when he was coming in the country, like the governments, they tell them like when they're getting their citizenship, he said they told us like if you deal with them, then you'll wind up going back to your country and we're bad and all of these negative things to say. So not only is it with their parents, the government is telling them that as well about us. So they are pitting them against us immediately.
Well, there you go. I mean, at the end of the day, though, you know, whose communities they move into? They not in all white communities unless they on some fucking athletic scholarship or some shit
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like who are they living around? So what the fuck you mean stay away from us? Like you come over here, you mimic us, you mimic our look, you mimic how we dress. Once you get, but they still don't have, like, for example, the way Africans can easily disrespect Martin Luther King or the way that Caribbeans can disrespect Malcolm X, like because they don't see themselves as part of us.
Yeah, they have
All
no
of that
ties.
exactly, all of that Pan-African shit and we all black shit was one-sided. And that's why the whole foundational Black American or American descendant of slaves movement is such a threat to them because now they'll be excluded.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm seeing too, though, is, and I'm quite sure you've seen it too, where there's this whole reparations movement going on right now.
And they trying to get some of it.
Yes.
That's another reason why it needs to happen. They hate you, they think they're better than you, but they trying to get paid off your heritage, not their own.
Yes.
Of your heritage. And this is another reason that's causing Black Americans to start to really hate them more and more because you're trying to steal something that rightly belongs to me, that my family suffered in this country for 4 or 5 centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Your people didn't start immigrating here until the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the nerve to try and say that you deserve what I get. That was because here's the thing, we didn't get our 40 acres and a mule.
No.
And your ass didn't show up till more than 100 years later. So this is well owed to us.
Yes.
And now you trying to steal some of it?
Yeah. And they are really going hard body with it. They're talking about, well, we're all black, we're all brethren.
Exactly, because they want to eat off our plates. And unfortunately, and I don't give a fuck what nobody says, it's these motherfucking college bitches that's letting them do
it. Please expound on that for me.
Okay, it's all this goddamn liberal fucking Black Lives Matter bullshit, all this LBGT bullshit, all of this bullshit. Everybody's involved. That shit needs to end.
Yeah,
that shit needs to end. All Black Lives Matter got millions and millions of dollars. I haven't seen that one program for boys to keep them from getting shot for the cops. Not one.
Because they too busy buying houses and stuff, embezzling all that money.
But remember, if you say that, that means you must be gay. You must have a little dick. You must hate your mother. Oh, this bullshit.
They go hard body. They go hard
all this
body.
Bullshit because they don't want to be held. They keep telling black men not held accountable. Bullshit. If I don't take care of my kids, I go to jail, right?
Yep.
But if you don't, you get Section 8, you get WIC vouchers, you get handouts. And that's all Black Lives Matter got. Once we found out about George Soros cutting all them checks, why the fuck would George Soros be funding this organization? And do you remember, Hands Up, Don't Shoot?
Yes.
You know what happened? You remember what happened with that?
No, it just kind of went away. I don't know. What happened?
All of those brothers got murdered. All of them. Every single one of them. Shot up, burned alive, hung in his yard. They all got murdered. And then Black Lives Matter jumped in front of the camera. You think that was an accident?
What? No, I did not know that.
Yes, you can look it up.
Wow.
Them bitches are tools of white supremacy.
Absolutely.
They got placed there.
So do you think that these women are FBA women? Are they Tethers?
I think it's a mixture. That's why I say it's the college bitches, because look at it. Like, for example, you had all these fucking women when Kevin Samuels, when the news came out that Kevin passed, rest in peace, you had all these fucking foreign flag women talking about something. Oh, he's this, he's that, he hates black women. First, he's not even talking to y'all. Y'all got different cultural issues.
That's why and I wanted to touch on that because in social media, there is this whole movement against black men ain't shit. Y'all are lazy. Y'all dusty Tyrones.
It's been that way for decades. The Color Purple came out before I was fucking born. Like, it's been that way for decades.
But
you can read about you.
I think though, Mike, that it's a lot of them tether women that's leading that charge though. I'm not
saying there's
no sisters that's not doing it, jumping on board, but it's them tethers.
Yes. Right now, yes, I would have to say right now, yes. More of them are taking the reins. Yes. Now that's true. Now, yeah. In the past, it wasn't, but yes, I would agree with that. Now it is more of them fucking foreign bitches, and like I was listening to Tariq Nasheed talk to some fucking Somalian. They call him nigger and shit like that. And he had the Somali bitch like, oh, you black Americans are mad that we're bossing up and taking your jobs. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, most of you motherfuckers is Uber drivers and shit. DoorDash delivery people. Y'all ain't taking shit.
Yo, Tariq be laying into them though. They cannot do nothing with him. And shout out to him because I really rock with him because that's how I really learned about this whole FBA movement was through Tariq Nasheed for real.
Well, I mean, once again, he was the one who had the stones to stand up and say enough of these foreign Negroes. Not this Pan-African shit is one-sided. And however, I will admit that I do believe that his beef with Umar has something to do with that as well.
Yeah, because they was going hard body with each other.
Yeah, I do believe that him and Umar was butting heads, and Umar the piss of Pan-Africanism and shit. However, we cannot deny that, Pan-Africanism has been one-sided for quite some time.
But I don't understand why we were grasping onto that and not really grasping onto the culture that we created for ourselves.
For numbers. More numbers.
But they weren't receiving us, like you said. So it was like we were trying to bully our way into something that we were not accepted in over there either, just like we weren't here in white America. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we
Yeah.
created our own culture, our own slangs, our own dress, our own
Right.
everything.
And when these people say that Black Americans don't have a culture, excuse me, but our culture is the most mimicked across the globe, not yours. You got everybody around the world calling themselves a nigga. Why? Because of Black American culture, not because of you fucking foreigners.
But you know what I do think too? Now, do you because I try to look at everything that's going around, right? And I really try to do the knowledge to stuff. Now, remember at one point there were black people that were assaulting Asians, and then that's when they came up with this Asian hate bill. Then there were black people that was just going around and stabbing white people, and it I when you look at
a
those,
lot of that shit, I think a lot of that shit is I think a lot of that shit is just way overblown. Like
I don't think it was us. That's my point. I don't think it was FBAs that were doing it, because they lump us all into a group that you're
that's
black.
true. Yes,
You know what I'm
true.
saying?
That's just like the boys that jumped that girl in New York. That was a bunch of fucking Caribbean boys.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they tried to make it seem like it was a bunch of little black. Yeah.
Yes,
That
and
is
I
what they
think
did.
that's what happens with a lot of this stuff. Now, like there, I watched it, some news report where it was some dude, he killed his pregnant girlfriend and left her on the side of the road somewhere in the Bronx. He was not a FBA. He was from, I think he was like from Haiti or one of them foreign countries.
So he was a Haitian. He wasn't a Black American. He was a Haitian.
But when they say black, people automatically think us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we are the apex Negro, and that's why they hate on us.
So
we are the apex Negro on this planet.
So I guess my question is, how do we separate from them? Like, okay, it's like, all right, we know that this is what's going on and we're trying to distinguish ourselves from them. Do we first, how do we separate from them? And do we have to separate from all of them? Or are there some that are allies and on our side?
We have to separate from all of them, get our own house in order, and then say, okay, which one of you niggas got your head on straight? You can be an ally.
How we separate? How do we do? What does that even look like?
Well, first thing first is the only one of these tethers that can really blend in is like third generation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if they first, second generation, it's clear that this nigga's an African, because let's be honest, Africans got a smell. Okay, let's cut the bullshit. We all know they funky asses stink. Okay. Okay, let's cut the bullshit. We all know, we can all smell them. You know.
Oh Lord, I'm not laughing.
I've even had a white dude tell me he know the difference between us and an African by the smell.
I'm not laughing. Oh my God.
Okay, you know as well as that, because let's be honest, over there in like Nigeria, they have open defecation. You just take a shit like a dog wherever you standing. They brush their teeth with the same water they piss and shit in. They wipe their ass with their hand. That's another reason why they pretend to be us when they're in foreign countries.
Yeah, because people understand where they come from.
And what they and how shitty, like for example, there's another YouTuber. There's two of them I like. One of them, her name is Mouthy Megan. She lives up there in Baltimore. And another one is a brother named Nak Meezy. And like young, the brother Nak Meezy be going at these Nigerians hard, getting them to fucking be like, look, you pretend to be us when you overseas to try and get women.
But you know those Africans love American women though.
Yeah, because they see y'all as the apex Negro woman, as you are on this planet. So if they can get the apex Negro woman, what does that say about them?
But so then on one hand, I mean, like, do you think that's like an oxymoron though? It's like they don't really respect us, and they want to, help with our demise, but they want an American black woman, like.
Well, they look at you like taming a horse or breaking a horse. They look at you like they're gonna tame you and bring you over to the African culture and have you doing your African rain dance and shit and all that bullshit.
You gonna have to stop. Cause I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to be professional. You gonna have to stop. Why the African rain dance though? But
I mean, yeah, no.
it's so. But I don't know. So how do you think that if we say to them like, all right, we doing this reparations movement, y'all ain't got shit coming, y'all not a part of this. Do you think that they are gonna try to sabotage
Of course they are.
what's going on?
Of course they are. Or they're gonna try to say it's not fair. It's, you know, of course they are, because they're not gonna get anything.
And do you think that it's going to have an effect on us though, to where that could be used as an excuse with the government really like? First of all, I don't think we're gonna get reparations. Let's be clear. But I
If
just
we
love the
stay the
fact.
course, it can happen. If we stay the course, if we stay the course, we gotta stay the course.
Even if we don't, I'm gonna say this. Even if we don't get the reparations, I'm digging and loving the fact that for the first time in a long time, Black people are on code, right? And that's
But
what
not
I'm.
necessarily. We on, you know, we on code a little bit.
We are on code with this, where it's
Yeah,
like,
with this.
yes,
Right, with
that's what
this.
I'm. The potential of us really
With
being
this.
on code is there.
Yeah, with this we on code, you
Yes,
know.
and that's why I think that they're so angry because we're not leaving no room. Like I be checking out some of the clubhouses. Oh my gosh, they be tearing these tethers up. Like they can't say nothing. And I don't understand why they subject themselves. I guess they want to see what we talking about and what's going
Yeah,
on.
because we are the cool kids. They want to be one of the cool kids. The
Because
American Negro is the cool kid. That's why they talk the shit they talk. It's bullshit. You don't have a culture. Excuse me. You're trying to get up in my shit. Ain't nobody trying to get up in yours.
yeah, right, right.
That's I mean, who you mimic the way I dress. I don't mimic the way you dress. You mimic the way I talk. I don't mimic the way you talk.
So now let's take it back because I know that you do like a lot of research from like, like from years gone by. How do you think that they affected that whole civil rights movement and all of that, like what our grandparents were dealing with all of that kumbaya stuff? Do you
There
think
wasn't that many of them. There's only to this day there's only 4 million foreign Negroes in this country.
okay.
That's okay. Back then there was way less. There was way less. So yeah, a handful of them might have walked, marched, and held the fist up and all of that. But over the years, they thank you. They've gone away from appreciating us as soul brothers to calling to getting on a goddamn fucking podcast and calling Tariq Nasheed a nigger and shit like that.
That's crazy.
So over the years, their view of us has degenerated. Now I've had people give me bullshit explanations. They when they watch TV, they see boys in the hood, so they think we just like the rebels in their country and all this blah blah blah. But I've heard that kind of bullshit. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Because the truth be told, if it was that bad, why the fuck you send your kids in the same public schools as ours?
Because they can't go nowhere else. Even though they
all right then
as pawns, they don't want them amongst them.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I knew an African lady one time, and she was telling me the food she was cooking, all the white people in her building wanted her evicted because the shit was stinking up the whole fucking hallway. And I said, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you don't understand the message in that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you not get the message that we don't want your stinking ass up in here?
Because to them, I think to them, because like even if I go back to the reparation statement, you have some of them that try to get on board to say, hey, we want some too. Then you have some of them that are saying, oh no, you have opportunities now. Like basically the white man has given y'all.
Yeah, but those guys, I know you talking about like that bitch ass Nigerian running for office up in Minnesota, talking about he gonna get rid of Black History Month, talking about dudes like him. Yeah, guys like him, okay, guys like him, either they're just like the African nigga down in Georgia. I mean, excuse me, not in Georgia, down in Florida, who just got stabbed to death by his white girlfriend.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That nigga.
Yes.
And listen, sisters kill me with that. Black men, black. No, that's not one of us.
That is my point, and that's what
Okay.
makes me mad, and that's why I do what I do when I
Okay.
talk about black men.
He was tweeting Akata and Black American Akata and shit. So he obviously didn't like us. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing about that kind of shit is those kind of dudes are either gone off some white puss. They either gone off some white puss, or they're pandering to try and get some white puss.
Yeah, yeah. But
because
that's because they think that white people are God. They think white people are God.
They do.
Yeah.
I realized in high school the sexual competition amongst us versus them African dudes. Because for a while I had to realize that he was competing against me, but I wasn't competing against him. Because I didn't view him as competition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he probably, I realized that that there's a lot of that a lot of those guys are, they're trying to do they're having low key male sexual competition with us, with black men specifically. From African men and black men specifically, there's a sexual competition aspect. Because you can listen to you. I know so. I realized in the high school. Because I realized the muscle-bound Nigerian nigga was mad at me that he couldn't get girls and he had muscles and I could and I didn't.
Okay.
But however, he didn't understand that a normal black woman like yourself, that they grow up brushing their teeth with toilet water. So you're not trying to tongue kiss him.
I told you to stop.
Okay. And it took me a while to realize that's what it was. It took me a while to realize that what it is it's their funky asses and their underarms. Basically they have subpar hygiene standards. They grow up with subpar hygiene standards. Look at their fucking feet.
Well, that's because they don't have, like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you ain't got no food, what you know about deodorant?
Yeah. Well, they say they do it. They say they don't wear it because it's not natural and they want to be natural. That's what they say.
Man, you better get your funky ass up out of here, man. I can smell you before you even walk around the goddamn corner. Oh, here that nigga come. Here he come. Here he come. And when I was in school, we had this one African boy who transferred from London, and he used to be spraying on this expensive cologne over that shit, man.
Oh my God.
Yes, man. And I will never forget. He was like, Mike, man, you going around telling people I stink? I'm like, bro, I don't have to tell nobody nothing. They know when you walk past. I don't have to tell nobody shit. I swear to God, he was blaming me, saying he's spreading rumors, telling people I stink. I'm like, bro, I'm not telling nobody shit. When you walk past them, they can smell you.
Oh my! But they don't smell it because it's like when you sit.
Exactly, because everybody smell like that where they from, and they whole house smell like that. When I used to work for Vivint installing home security systems, when you go in them Africans' house, they whole fucking house smell like that.
Cause it's the food they eat that come out their pores on top of all that. I mean, it's all contributing.
And the subpar hygiene standards.
So you think that they even come here? Okay, so now they don't have running water. A lot of them villages or wherever they from don't have it. But when they come here, you don't think that they pick up the hygiene part of it all?
Let me tell you something like this. I can remember years back, I was looking for a company named Fresenius. And we had this Nigerian nigga named Jade who had only been in America for like a month before he got the job. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
His ass would take off his work uniform, leave it in his locker every day, never took it home and washed it. Come in, change into it, work, take it off, leave it in there. And what pissed me off, and this is another reason why I'm like, look, lady, you in charge, not me. the supervisor, she was trying to tell me, can you take him up to John and take him to the antiperspirant aisle? Because everybody, I'm like, hell no, you in charge. I'm not doing that shit. You are the supervisor. You are in charge. You deal with this.
Was she white?
No, she wasn't white.
Oh, sure. Cause well, I guess she felt because you was a man.
Exactly, but I don't want to hear that shit. Equality. You in charge, so you deal with it.
Oh gosh, that's so. But you know what? Well, maybe because he felt he only wore it for a little while. You know,
But
it didn't really.
he
Smell.
was thinking. He was thinking, and like I said, he probably couldn't smell it because everybody smelled like that where he's from.
So why ain't nobody just leave like some deodorant by his locker, something to give him a hint?
Look, I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is I felt as though that shit was funny. I'm like, man, you better get the fuck out of my face.
That's crazy. I haven't had any real bad experiences with any Africans. Actually, like I have Liberian friends and we are like family.
But Liberian niggas is just them niggas is them niggas is basically, like I said, genetically they are our cousins.
Yeah, because I rock hard body. Like I have some Liberian neighbors, and like
that's what I'm saying. Like Liberians are different. Liberians, I mean, that's where the slaves who went back to Africa after the Civil War settled in Liberia.
Yeah, because I really feel like they us. Like I feel a connection with them.
Genetically, they are our cousins.
Yeah, because the rest of them, like I like from Cameroon, like when I go get my hair braided and they in there talking French and they look like they don't want to touch you, but they gonna do it because I'm paying $200 and you know they talking about you. Like those kind.
Black girl, look at the black girl head. The black girl head, little big black
yeah, girl. You know they in there with their babies wrapped on their back, barefoot, standing there braiding my
with the neck, with the neck bobbing and shit. The neck bobbing and shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I know y'all talking about me, but like, nigga, I could come on.
Hey, yeah, them babies be looking like, please stop this now.
They do. They just be letting you know they got them big like donkey asses, so they just be strapped up there, and the baby just be all tight, and they standing up there for hours talking shit about us. While they braiding our hair, no different than when I go get my feet done by the Koreans or whatever they are. Like I get that same vibe. You know.
Now, what I will say is, if you look at like, there's a YouTube channel called The Grapevine that's run by these African chicks, and a lot of them African chicks, they would tell you they only want a Black American male, which is why, like I told you, the sexual tension between African men and regular Black men.
They only want Black American. Why?
Right. Who's the apex Negro on Earth?
So then that's what I guess that's where I get confused at, is that you hate us, but sexually, like, even, okay, for a man, I can understand because he feel that he can get his woman to be submissive or what have you. But for an African woman to feel the same way about a FBA man, why is that?
Yeah, but that's just because it's all physical. They look at Black American men as more physically attractive than Nigerian.
Because it's true. It's true.
There you go. There you go.
It's true. Like, I mean, there's like nothing that compares to a Black man.
That's all Black female loyalty is based off of, is sexual attraction. When we so loyal to y'all, no, you just find us more sexually attractive than any other man. You're not loyal.
For some. For most.
I'm gonna say the most.
Because personally, it's not a sexual thing for me. It's more of a vibe, and I can jive, and we understand, and you know the sense of humor is different.
That's culture. Yeah, that's culture.
Compatibility.
Yeah, that's culture. Is what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's more of a compatibility.
You can't be with a man from another culture.
Oh wait, I have there's another person joining. This is Curtis. This is he was on last week when we were talking about his book.
And that's the brother that was telling the stories about his employment.
Yes, this is Curtis.
I got some of those same experiences, man.
Curtis, can you hear us? Wait, I don't think he could hear. Curtis, come out and then join back in because we cannot hear you. Oh, it's connected now. But yeah, so you definitely have to read that book, Black. Like it's really good. It's really, really good. I met Curtis through TikTok. He sent me a message talking about his book and how he wanted to talk about his experiences. Can you hear us, Curtis? No. All right, we'll give him time. Curtis, come out and then join back in. Yeah. But that's a good read. I'ma send you a copy. It's not like a huge book. It's about maybe 15, 16 pages, you know, because he hit a lot of things on the head of what I'm saying from my perspective, from what I see happens with black men. You know what I'm saying? And he really did the damn thing on that. But
yeah, I mean, I was listening to a little bit of it. I'm like, some of those same experiences I got, you know what I'm saying, as well as, you know, you listen to guys like Mr. Research talk about how black women use human resources to keep black men out of good paying jobs, and then complain that niggas don't have good jobs.
Absolutely. I was watching this guy and he was talking about how black women like to talk about they're the most educated and all of this stuff, and so he
and
put
it's
up
not true.
he put up some research, the numbers, and then he was like the areas that black women go to college for is like teaching, psychology, and something else. I can't remember the third one. But and then he was like, and these are the lowest paying jobs. And then
because they're the most enrolled. They're not the most educated.
That's what he was
because
saying.
At the end of the day, how the fuck is the most educated group of women birthing and raising the most uneducated group of children? How the fuck does that make sense?
And that is exactly what he was saying. And I was like, wow, I know he shut a lot of people down. They did not like it. They did
That's
not
what
like
I'm saying. And that's my issue with sisters is like, you get objective fact. I mean, just come on. How are you? All of you women are Einsteins, but your children are baby Hueys, and it's everybody else's fault.
But they say it's because now when I watched this chick, what is her name? Her name is the Z-Lot. What's her name? Divested Z-Lot or Z-Lot Divested.
Divested Zealot. Yeah, Divested Zealot. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. That woman, she makes my ass hurt. Like she never shows her face, none of this stuff. But
I think she's funny. I watch her shit to laugh. I ain't even gonna lie, that shit be having me cracking up.
But what she says though is that black women, to your point of what you're saying, like how educated black women can raise these men, what she says is that y'all demons. Basically. Y'all demons
that come from your womb.
Black women
that come from your womb.
We
that come from your womb.
All of this into you. We feed you, we clothe you, we love you, we do all of this stuff, and then you just turn out to be nothing. And she just feels that innately black men are just bad innately, no matter how much love we give you.
And what does that say about you? Because you birth them, you raise them. What does that say about you?
This is how she separates herself from it. She's trying to separate herself from it by saying, well, this is just who you are. Regardless of the love that I gave you and the good person I am, you just are a bad seed. All black men. And
but I'm your seed.
I know, I get it.
The seed literally is grown in your motherfucking womb.
I get it. And
I've had foreign men say shit like that. Like how do like they give birth to you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like they the only ones who can mentally do these gymnastics because we live in a society where the government never allows them to have to take full responsibility for what they do.
No, absolutely. See, and that's why I always say, I tell them black women, I'm only going to talk about black women.
Have you ever seen a homeless sister? When have you ever seen a homeless sister?
They
let women be in the street. They let men be on the street.
You understand? You understand, that's why I started my nonprofit, was specifically for men, because there was nowhere for men to go when they're homeless. Like, even if we were a homeless family, I have watched where they separated the family, and the women and the children, they go to either a hotel or some facility, and then the man, unless it's hypothermia season, is the only time they can go into a shelter where it's like a barracks kind of thing. Whereas women have their own rooms and kitchens and all of that. That's why I started my nonprofit.
They'll give him a Section 8 apartment. They'll give him something, and then they'll say he can't be in there.
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? And that is what pushed me to start a nonprofit for that. Because I was like, you're breaking up families. Like, things happen. You know what I'm saying? Life happens and shit happens and people are down and out. Why would you separate an entire family and only cater to the woman at this point? And now this man is sleeping in
because at this point the women have settled into it. They have basically full control over the family, but they can still blame the men for the outcome.
Even though you're fucked up too, but you're getting help. That's the only reason why you're able to go ahead and move forward. Without this help, you would still be in the same situation as this man. And
remember that lady that was living in that hotel a couple years back with like 15 kids. Somebody need to take care of all my kids. Remember that?
Yes.
Like they know that the government will swoop in and save them no matter what they do.
But this was the thing. Not only the government helped her, but people were sending her money. Like just regular citizens. If that was a black man, oh my gosh, if you miss about 3 or 4 child support payments, they taking your license, you going to jail, all of
that. But they say black men are held accountable though.
Man, please. And this is the thing. Women want to be equal until it's about accountability. Once it comes to being accountable, that's where all the equality shit stops. And
or like I say, equal pay means equal expenses. If you want equal pay, then your ass got to pay child support and alimony too. If you make more.
I have seen it where there are women who do not have their children and the father is raising a kid and that woman does not pay anything and never got locked up, never, none of that stuff.
Look at the Black China situation. What just happened with Black China?
Oh yeah, and she don't even have her kids.
Exactly. Oh, I gotta give up my cars because I don't have no support. Like, bitch, you don't even have the kids. What you need support for?
This system.
You know why? Because the system has made them so entitled.
Yes.
The system has made them just ridiculously entitled.
But this is the thing.
That is also affect, and that just like the sisters are entitled from that aspect, the Tethers are entitled to take some of your reparations money. They're entitled to take some of your black scholarship money. They're entitled to take some of your, anything that black people get to right the wrongs of the past. They're gonna want some of it.
But this is the thing. Even when they come into this country, they're afforded things that we're not. Even though our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears is in this land, they come here, they're allotted like loans, they don't have to pay taxes, none of that stuff. So they're able to get a leg up. So they come here, they're granted certain opportunities that we still fight for, and then they look at us like, well, why can't you pull yourself up by your own bootstraps? Because they don't give us what they get. When I used to work in the
another thing you got to take in consideration is their ceiling is a lot lower than ours. That's one thing people are not talking about. Is that they, like, as an American, if you don't have running water in the toilet, that's like, oh my God, you must be out of your fucking mind. But to them, they grew up shitting in the hole and wiping their ass with their hand. So their ceiling is a lot lower as well.
Yeah, true.
That's another thing that people are not talking about.
But though, like I said, I worked in a department store, and they have cards. And I'm sure you probably seen these or know about it, where they get cards where they don't have to pay tax on anything. You know what I'm saying? They don't pay like federal taxes. They don't pay tax in stores. Any of
Well,
that
I'm not
stuff.
familiar with that. I'm not familiar with that.
Yes, it's a card. And I first saw it with like a Hispanic woman. And I was working in Sears and I'm ringing up her stuff and she handed me this card. And I was like, okay, I didn't know what it was, but it was like a little paper card that said that she does not have to pay taxes. It's similar to like if you have a nonprofit and you don't pay city tax or anything on goods and merchandises. They get those cards where they do not have to pay taxes. Yes. And I'm like, how is that possible? Wouldn't you make immigrants pay taxes and we don't have to? Because our tax dollars afford for them to
That's
be.
basically a welfare program for immigrants.
It is. Look it up. Look it up because that happened. I had to be like in my 20s at the time. I didn't know nothing about nothing then, and I was like, I don't know. And then she got mad, and then I had to call my manager, and then my manager was like, yeah, no, this is what you do. When somebody gives you this, they don't have to pay any tax on the items. I didn't even know that. And then they wonder why, you know what I'm saying, they could get ahead a little bit further and faster than we can. Because we don't
Well,
get the same shit that y'all get. And y'all didn't even put no work here.
well, not just that. Like I said, their ceiling is a lot lower. So them having 2, 3 families in a 2-bedroom apartment, that's acceptable to them. While they all work and save money. Black people beat and killed each other if we was living like that.
Yeah, no, but you know what? That's what they do though, and I see it all the time from my neighbors and all of that. They have put up partitions in the house. You know what I'm saying? And everybody just
I've
got a
seen
bed.
that.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they got
I've
a
seen them.
bed.
I've seen them throw up drywall in the middle of the bedroom and put a sheet up and have one half of the bedroom for one couple, the other half of the bedroom for the other couple.
Yep, and they'll do that. And then also, one of them told me that what they do is every month, one person pays all of the bills, once a month. So everybody has a turn. So if we got 12 people in the house, each month, one of those 12 people get to, pay all of the bills and then you get to save your money. That's how they're able to go ahead and acquire all of these little Ford trucks they be driving and
Yeah, exactly.
all of those expenses because they do that now.
Yeah, and they have money and they buy it because I see them at the job site. They buy tools and they buy trucks and they get their own stuff.
Because they're allowed to be, if you got 11 months where you won't have to pay no
But
rent.
once again, that's not allowed. That's culture. See, if black people start doing that, then people be at each other's throats. And black people can't do that. We can't live, 12 people in a 2-bedroom.
But we used to, though, Black. We used to be able to do that, to get ahead and to make it and to succeed. But a lot of us got indoctrinated into this. I need my own space and I can't do this and can't do that. We adopted a lot of this European way of thinking because we used to do that. Like even not so long ago, if you go into like the 50s, the 40s and the 50s, you know what I mean? You got grandma that lived there with the
Yeah,
uncle.
but that was because into the 60s, most black people was still sharecroppers up until the
But
60s.
we
Most of
were
us was still
able to
sharecroppers.
do it to make it and because we had a common goal. You know what I'm saying? We lost that because we started subscribing to this European way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like I can't be around my mama or I can't live with her. Nah, we used to could do that so we could succeed and make
Yeah,
it.
but once again, like I said, the culture has changed to where mama, look how disrespectful the mamas are. You know what I'm saying? Like mamas wasn't like that back then.
And that's what that again, that's that European
So
way of thinking where it's we never used to say we kicking our kids out the house at 18. At 18 you grown. That wasn't that. Nah. We didn't do, but that's what white people do. And it's like
yeah,
we
but we didn't do that because of racism. We didn't do that because of Jim Crow racism. You kick them out at 18, they're gonna be dead by 19.
but we also knew
They're gonna get hung.
because they and then we also knew that they weren't prepared for the world either. You know,
Yeah, but now when they get 18, their mamas just wash their hands with
yes, and that is and that's my
it. It
point.
ain't my problem no more.
That's my point because we want to live our best life and mama got to live too and all of that other stuff. You
And
know,
I'm not saying she don't. I'm not saying she don't. I'm not saying mama don't gotta live. Yes, mama, you do. You do, okay? But come the fuck on.
let me tell you something. I
Like you got
got two children, 26 and 21. If my children for at any stage in their life need me or need to come home or need me to be mommy, I am. Like my children comes first. Like it's not that now they've reached a certain age, it's like I'm no longer responsible. That's not how that works. I am still the core of my family. They're an extension of me. And I am that core. And whenever they need me, or however they need me, or whatever needs to inconvenience myself to help my children, or whatever it is, I will do that. I don't make my children feel like they are an inconvenience or a burden. And that's what a lot of mothers do because they want to live their best life. You know, and I don't get that. I don't get it. My kids are the biggest inconveniences. Yes, they are. But they mine. And I'm gonna play that role. Like I'm big mama in my family. Everybody comes to my house for functions and I try to keep the family together. That is what we're missing in our culture now. You know,
we're missing that, and you're missing the daddies properly
yes.
guiding the boys, especially like it reminds me watching the Five Heartbeats when his father was telling me, you need to cut that shit out of your hair. You need to go down and do this. I'm like, okay, yeah, this he made it as a singer, but we need more of that. We need more of the fathers, getting the boys ready.
You know what though?
Because that's one thing that the tethers be talking shit about. You don't know your dad. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. Yeah.
They be talking big shit about that.
But you know what I noticed too though about that, and I'm not saying that there are not deadbeat fathers out there, because Lord knows I know that they are, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But what I am gonna say too is that a lot of times women run fathers away.
Yes,
And
that's the reason why my generation isn't as mad at their dads anymore, because my generation, we've been grown long enough to see, okay, if we've been dealing with this kind of shit and everybody got a camera phone, imagine what our fathers were dealing with.
mm-hmm. Yes.
So a lot of guys, a lot of millennials are looking at it saying, maybe daddy just had to walk away so he can live his life because mama was just kept wasting his time in court, and like he can't keep taking off work every week, giving them doing stuff to purposely give them a hard time. We see it being done, purposely calling the police. Like
Yes.
we see it on camera now. So imagine before everybody had a camera phone.
Yes. And this is
Imagine how bad it was.
that,
So
and
that's
it's
what,
not new.
yeah. So that's why a lot of guys are looking at their fathers and like, well, maybe, because I told my father, I mean, even though he may be a fat bitch, but I told him, like, every story that you told me about my mother and my grandmother, I believe it all now. I didn't believe it when I was younger, but
Mm-hmm.
now that I've been grown long enough, I've been dealing with women, I believe everything you said now. Everything you say she did, I believe it.
So let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. So when you were growing up, did your mother say negative stuff about your pops to you, or did it
Not
was she didn't say
not
nothing
like
negative
that.
about him?
Not sometimes, but it wasn't like as bad as a lot of the shit you hear. Your daddy ain't shit. It wasn't that fucking bad.
Okay, okay. Cause I
She
had
she
that.
did some stuff, but it wasn't super bad like that.
See, cause like I said, because my kid's father wasn't like involved the way that they should have been. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that I never did was I never talked bad about them. Never. And my thing with them was, look, I'm not even asking you for no money. I never took them for child support. I never did any of that stuff. My thing was spend time, especially with my son. Like, yo, spend time with your son. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And then when that and I'm watching my son sit there at the window waiting for somebody that's never gonna come. Like, that used to break my heart. And I never
Yeah, I mean, that's real.
I
That's real for
never
boys.
said anything bad about that man to my son ever. And so now that my son is 26, now here he comes, and it's like, yo, I'm playing daddy, and my son has no respect for him, and he's upset, thinking like I contributed to that. But my thing to
Yeah,
him used to be,
that's what they don't get.
I didn't have
That's
to
what they
say
don't get.
anything. He knew
Cause
he
I got,
had
cause,
his
cause
bags with.
that's how I got sick of my father, because a lot of the bitch ass shit he used to do. Cause see, I'm the same age now that he was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's no way I would do a lot of the shit that he was doing and saying all that bullshit. Hell no, I wouldn't do that shit. Now
Yeah.
the thing that pissed me off is he try to act like I don't remember and bullshit. You do remember. You just fucking ashamed of yourself now.
Absolute, because now he could be held accountable. And that's what I
Right.
used to tell my son's father, like, yo, he is not going to be this age forever. It's gonna be a time that you gonna have to look him in his face as a man and explain yourself. So now that
Yep.
my son is a father, my son has two kids now, two boys. And I don't even understand how he's able to be the type of father that he is, because he did not have that. You know what
And
I'm
I
saying?
know you wasn't. And I know you wasn't giving his your son's father the kind of nonsense crap that your son got to deal with his child's mother. I know you
Absolutely
wasn't. I
not.
know you was not putting him through none of that kind of nonsense.
Absolutely not. Absolute. Yo, it was to the point to where I was like, yo, if you don't have no money to go get McDonald's, I would give him money to be like, here, just take him. Like, I felt like I was paying him to be with his son. But he was too busy, still wanting to be in that life and all of this. But now that you getting older, you know what I'm saying? And chicks ain't around you the way that they used to be. You're not as appealing anymore. Now you looking for your children. And my son is not feeling it at all. But I still to this day tell him, you don't gotta like him and you don't gotta deal with him, but you do have to respect him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to come just disrespect your dad because
I'm
he
not gonna. I'm not gonna say that because I had to get it out with my fat motherfucking dad, and I'm like because what a lot of y'all don't realize is they don't. A lot of times that he probably won't respect him as an adult now. Like, look, I'm not a kid no more. I'm an adult now,
yeah.
and he probably doesn't respect your son as an adult. So your son is like, okay, well, nigga, fuck you.
That recently happened, maybe like
That's what
last
that's
month.
that's what I'm saying. So, and here's the thing. Your son could have been feeling that for quite some time, which is why he didn't show him no respect. Because a lot of these older cats do that. They disrespect younger men, but they think just because they old, they supposed to get elderly respect.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the issue I have with a lot of old Negroes. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So
And he
so
did.
when once you hit that late 20s, 30s, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that, respect your father. No, your father has to respect you as well, because you a fucking adult.
You a man, and I get it,
Yeah.
but when I say not disrespect him, I don't mean not stand your ground. I don't mean if he's violating you, putting him in his place. I mean just being utterly just like disrespectful for no reason. You know what I'm saying? If you gotta check him, you check him, because you a man, you pay your own bills, you take care of your kids. He got custody of both of his boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, my son is doing his thing, of,
Yeah.
and his father is trying to basically tell him how to do that, and that's where they bump heads. And he like, nigga.
Yeah, he like, nigga, who, and that's what my father. I'm like, nigga, who the fuck are you to give me advice?
Yes, yes, and that's where they don't see eye to eye. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
I go through the exact same thing. I'm like, nigga, who the hell are you to give me advice? Okay.
Yes. And I feel sad, but like I said, I'm super proud of my son, because again, all I could teach. I've never in my life.
Because that respect for your elders just because they old shit is over.
No, that's dumb. I don't believe in that shit. Like, you gotta respect me.
But that's what a lot of them old school Negroes lean on.
Yeah.
You know, I got grays on my chin, so respect me. It's like, yeah, but like, once again, most of you niggas, what fucking advice can you offer?
Yeah.
Like, fuck your advice, and what tangibly can you offer? Nothing.
Man, my son got caught up.
That's the issue I have with guys like in Steve Harvey's generation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that generation, most of those guys, they don't have shit to pass down to their sons and grandsons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
No, no, they don't. They don't know what to say, how to be, because first of all, the world is different. The way that they thought and the way that this new generation thinks is like night and day.
It's different.
It's total night and day. And I have to tell my mom that.
All that damn work hard shit. And look at it. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. I just watched an episode of Vice. And it was about kids that's trying to be TikTok stars. Right? Mm-hmm. And it basically showed that their whole life becomes TikTok. Mm-hmm. They constantly filming and editing videos. They live in TikTok houses. They only socialize with other TikTokers. And it's like, but what about the ones that don't make it? You're not gonna have no life skills. You're not gonna have no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I had to tell my mother.
There was no TikTok back in that day.
See, so what
advice would they give those kids?
This is what they don't understand, Black, is that they were raised by that silent generation, right? These baby boomers, because that's the age group Steve Harvey and them type of men you talking about. They the baby boomers, and they were raised by the silent generation. The silent generation was like, just keep your head down, do your job, that's it. Baby boomers, they could not think outside the box. You know what I'm saying? So if you are veering away from getting you a good government job, taking care of your family, they have no understanding and they think that you're stupid. I'm from Generation X. So me and my mom's bumped heads, you know, because she didn't understand how I was an avid thinker. I thought outside the box. So now you go to millennials and generation, what is it? Z? Is this new one?
The Z's are after us.
I got a millennial and a Z. My moms have no understanding on how, like, even when they have a simple conversation, she get frustrated and mad because of the thought process of how these people, you know, how these kids are these days, you know. But me being a ex, I've seen I've been around for all of the technology development. I'm in it. I understand it, you know. So like people like my moms, my kids' fathers, they come from that do what I say, not as I do. Shut up,
right,
and not heard.
My mother used to say that. My mother used to say that when I was a kid.
Oh, mine too. Don't do what I don't do what I say. Not a child should be seen and not heard. Little pitches got big ears and like all of that dumb shit.
Do as I say, not as I do. My mother used to say that shit all the time.
Oh my gosh. And I'm like, are you bugging? I'm gonna do what I see you do. Like, that don't even make sense. You setting an example. You can't tell me not to smoke cigarettes, but then you send me around the corner to go buy you a pack of Coles. Right? Like, you can't, like, that don't even make sense to me. You know, but I was trying to say about
that's back when they still had cigarette machines.
Man, please, when I was 9 years old and I could go and buy a pack of Coles at the corner store. Mm-hmm. And my mother sent me with $2.75. Or she'll be like, light my cigarette on the stove and don't smoke it. You think from the time I get to the kitchen to the time I get to the room where you laying in the bed, I ain't going to take a puff? Like, come on, ma'am. Like, and then they look at you like, how this happened? Like, you did it.
Right. That's what be killing me. Or they blame the father. It's the dad's fault.
Yeah. No, I was with you. Right. How do you blame somebody who wasn't around?
The average black child spends 81% of their adolescence with their mother. You are responsible.
And And that is what I tell these women. You talking about these men, but you are raising them. You're sending them out into the world like this. I don't care how you try to flip it and reverse it. You did this. You did, and because one lady was like, yeah, these men are soft nowadays. That's why they running around here with nail polish and acting like females. And I said they probably learned it from their strong, independent ass black mother who didn't need a man. That's where they learned it from. So don't try to be mad because this is what you produce, that you thought that you could do it on your own, because you can't. Yep. You can't. And I understood that. And I knew it. And this is why I was very, very adamant about my children having relationships with their fathers, because I knew, even for my daughter, I needed her to see how a man is supposed to treat you. I could tell you, but you need to feel it and see it and understand what it's like to be loved unconditionally. My son needed to know this is what meant. Do you know I had to teach my son how to shave? Like, I had to put stuff on my face. My son was maybe about 14, 15 at the time. And we're in the bathroom. And I needed to teach him how to shave. I shouldn't have had to do that. I didn't want to do that. It wasn't my role to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't have to do that. My dad did teach me how to shave.
I taught my son everything he needed to know.
Because he told me the shave problems I was going to have before I even had them. Because he said it's going to be genetic. So let me show you. And he was right, because I got the exact same shave problems he got.
I did not want that job. I had to teach my son how to use condoms. These are things that should have been talks with his dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did my part of loving him and nurturing him and all of that. Then when he turned 13, we had a deal. I said, when he gets about 12, 13, he needs to live with you. Because that's real formative stuff right there. And even then, I think it's too late. It should be a little bit earlier. But let's just say 12, 13. Let him live with you.
Yeah, I went at 11.
Yeah, I was open for that because I understood it. You know what I'm saying? I understood that. I was not one of them mothers that feel like, you ain't taking my kids and I could do it. Nah, take him. And it ain't because I don't love him. It's because I know I can't give him what he needs. But
you want to do what's best for him.
And he didn't do it. So my son was raised around nothing but women. Nothing but women. You know, and he understands the mind of a woman. And we all got different personalities and stuff. But he always said he felt left out because he was like the only boy. It was just all women. And I felt bad for him. That's why I don't understand how he's the type of dad that he is, because he wasn't given those tools. And his father told him that he does too much. He was like, yo, you do
because
too
a lot of us don't want to repeat that cycle. Like, for example, growing up, I seen so many drunks. That's why I don't really drink like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like them. I ain't want to be like them, you know?
But that's the thing. Like, sometimes I hear people say, well, I can't give you what I didn't have. So if I didn't get hugged, I'm not going to hug you. So how is it that some people are able to do the opposite? Like I'm saying, I'm going to use my son again. How is he able to be a nurturing, understanding, caring father when he didn't have that?
Because that's what he wants. That's what he wants to be. That's what he wants to be. So you got to want to do it. Most people just use that crap as an excuse. They don't want to do it. You know?
Yeah. Cause I mean, and I feel bad, you know, for black men who get a bum rap about not being good fathers. You know, I had an ex who, his dad wasn't around at all. And all his life, his mom used to just talk about how horrible this man was. And I said, well, why don't you just have a conversation with your father? Like, you hating him and you never even talked to him. And then his father told him a whole different story. A whole different story of trying to come to football games and the mom seeing him and her brother is trying to jump him, or she's calling the police and all of this stuff.
Putting them through bullshit.
I said, so you cannot be mad at that man no more. Like, be mad at her.
but see that there's a lot of that going on. Like I said before, now that millennials are getting older, we realizing that, you know,
But how does that make you look at the person who raised you though? Like if you realize like, yo, yeah, she is, because you lived with her, you grew up with her, so you know her ways. So how does that make you look at your mom now, knowing that she played a part in this man, your pops, not being there? I can't hear
that's
you.
that's a luck of the draw.
Okay.
That's a crapshoot. Different guys are gonna react different ways.
Do you confront her about it though and say like, yo, he said this, that, and the third? Is that true? Or you just take what he says and that's just, and then you just filter it out yourself? Do you present it to your moms though?
I would.
Okay. Okay. But dude, I don't think that
And I'll be able to look in your face and tell if you was lying to me.
one thing I learned about mothers, they don't take accountability for nothing. Nothing at all. So I don't even know if I would even say anything if somebody told me something different than what my mother told me. I don't think I would even say anything, because then it would be a reason as to why that happened, and then the victimization thing comes into play, and then you know what I'm
The
saying.
ones who want to, they will.
Yeah, I guess. I
The
guess.
ones who want to do better, they will.
I guess. But listen, I wanna segue into something real quick. Um, Kevin Samuels. Mm,
Oh,
mm, mm,
yeah,
mm.
rest in peace.
Yes, yes. I mean, I was shocked because when I heard it, I text you and I was like, "Did you hear about this?" Because I was like, if somebody, because at first you know how they always killing people off on social media, so I didn't want to think it, but then I saw that it was true, and I saw women like it was some lady, it really bothered me. It was some lady on TikTok, and it posed a picture of Kevin Samuels, and then it said like, yeah, you what how do you rate yourself for something? No, you're average at best. And then it turned to a video of the woman, and she was playing a song in the back. I'm out here living though. I'm out here living though. And I was like, yo, really?
Damn,
Then I
I ain't
saw,
see that.
yeah, I gotta send it to you. Then it was another woman that was just like celebrating. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and they like, good for him. He did nothing
I
but do.
saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of that.
Yo, I don't think black women really understood it. His approach was not for everybody, right? Especially sensitive people. But at the end of the day, Kevin really wasn't saying a lot of shit that wasn't true. He was holding black women accountable and putting the mirror up to their faces to look at yourself and look at what you're saying and see if it makes sense. Like now you done said it out loud. You had it in your head. You said it out loud. Does it make sense? And they demonized him as this woman hating man. And I personally don't think that that was true about him.
Yeah, of course not. My thing is this. Here's my main thing. Let's say, for example, Dylan Roof. Remember when Dylan Roof shot up that church, killed all them
Mm-hmm.
black folks?
Yes.
And after that, you had sisters out front of that church. I forgive him. I forgive him.
Mm-hmm.
But yet you celebrate the death of this brother? This white boy who just shot your grandma in the face with an AK-47, you up and down like an ape. I forgive. But Kevin Samuels, you're celebrating his death.
Because black women see white
That kind of
God.
that kind of shit, that kind of shit, that kind of behavior is what brothers are seeing. And then women act like, I ain't doing that. It's like, we're watching you. And this is what we're talking about. Like,
I don't.
this kind of behavior, like You go so hard at the black man, but then you soft as fuck on everybody else, just like a fucking white supremacist.
Yeah, they are. It's black women entitlement. Like that's a whole demographic within itself. Is black woman's privilege, is what I call it.
It's
Because
crazy.
I don't even really know what to say. I just really wanted to just basically
I
say
mean,
his
you
name
can
out
forgive
loud.
this, you can forgive and forgive and forgive, but this brother right here, because he told an average looking chick that she was average,
Hmm.
you celebrate his passing.
This is the thing. Like, I think what started it for a lot of women was when he was talking about Lizzo. When she was out there twerking. I think she had showed her cheeks at some sporting event and she was twerking.
Yeah, at an
That's
NBA game. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that's when it really started to hit. He hit the ground running with that, with the women being against him, and they're like, "Oh, he's body shaming."
Because she was saying like, guys got to be in shape and have a six pack to be with me, and everybody's
Yes,
like, look at you, like,
yes, yes.
and you and that's what they were pissed at for real.
And that's the thing. It's like you say, and that was gonna be my point. Is like they were upset because he was saying what he said. He wasn't making fun of Lizzo. He was stating the obvious, right? And then, but yet and still, when you look at the Super Bowl and they was making all this when 50 was on and people were making
Oh man,
fun.
yeah, exactly. Yep,
It was
yep.
like, yo, hold on. It's like you could say, this is like you said, white supremacy. You could say and do whatever you want, but as soon as somebody says something to you, it's a problem. Like, are you serious? Then I watched this video. You might have seen it. I don't know who show it was on, but they have like all of these young guys lined up, and then they had girls going down the line, like if they would date them, mess with them,
Oh
or
yeah, I've seen them zones. Yeah, I've seen them zones.
if that was the opposite way around.
They
Could you?
do it the opposite way. They do it the opposite way.
But
They
the
do.
backlash from like men saying that to women, it would have been crazy. But it was okay for women to do that, which is my point. Now
Well,
I
that
did,
kind of shit they do it, the men and the women. I've seen it both ways.
but my point is that they may do it, but what gets more attention as being negative is when the men do it to the women, not when the women
Oh,
do it
well,
to the
yeah.
men.
Well, yeah.
That's my point. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
saw it where the guys did the same thing, but they weren't as mean as these young girls were either. It was different. It was like they wanted to hurt their feelings. They instead of saying
Yeah.
like no, it was like you too short, you this, you can't. Like all of that wasn't that. It's not necessary. But it's so you can't even tell a black woman that she did something wrong without her going off. So, but it's cool to tell somebody, I don't date nobody less than 6 feet. But when Kevin tell you that you are six, it's a problem. Like, you understand my point? It just seems
Yep. I
ridiculous.
do. I understand that point definitely.
Like, come on. How you can have all of this criteria of what you need in a man, but a man is supposed to just take anything and have no standards? Are you kidding me? When
No,
you
they're not kidding you.
You working in McDonald's, you living in the projects, right? And he's supposed to just accept you with open arms and help you acquire all of this great stuff, and you have nothing to offer. But you have all of these requirements. Come on, man. I can't see it. And that's why I fucked with Kevin. I loved Kevin. And I really feel I'm hurt that he is no longer here. The shit seems shady to me.
It really did. It really did.
You
It really
know,
did.
but we'll see when it comes out, if it ever comes out, what happened. But this is really suspect to me, but we'll wait and see, you know, what they say happens. But it's yeah, we took a big loss in the community of making black women be accountable.
And not just that, he did have a freaking a Facebook page where he was getting couples together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, this whole thing about he hated sisters, that's not true.
I seen one where it was this guy. He got on men too, right? But I saw one, where was this guy? He's like, yeah, I make $800 a month. And Kevin is like, yo, you got a big dick? Right? And then the man was like, huh? He was like, yeah, nah, you don't got a big dick, because if you did, you would have said something. He was like, ain't no way no woman gonna want to be with you making $800 a month, living in your mother house, and you got a small dick. Get off my phone. Like, I fucked with Kevin.
He used to do that shit back on BGS's hangouts and shit with Minister Japp and shit back in 2016, 2017. Because Kevin's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I remember when he was trying to find his way, and he was wearing bow ties and looking like, I saw his progression.
That was like the 2015 Kevin.
Yeah.
2015, all that.
I saw his progression, and he did talk to men. He used to tell men, like, you need to make sure that
get a proper pair of shoes, get some cologne, get a proper suit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but nobody sees that. You know what I'm saying? Black women got these blinders on where all
those videos are still there. You can still look at them. Those videos are still there. He never took them down.
Yeah, no. But people don't want to see that. People want to watch 2-minute clips, of him going in. It seems like he's going in, but they're not looking at the whole video and seeing the context of the entire video. Because any kind of opinion can be made when you take a 2-minute clip of him talking about, you're average at best. But you didn't see what was... But you didn't see the whole hour before that.
Yeah, that's true.
We really took a big hit, and I, yeah, man, I don't even know what to say. That one got me. Because that was an ultimate surprise. But
yeah, man, it really just came out of nowhere.
I saw some video, though. It said that Kevin died with a BBW exotical or something. I didn't even watch it.
I seen the woman that he was with when he died. I saw her. I didn't even want to watch no videos about people talking about it, because I felt that it wouldn't be objective. I felt like they would be biased. I'm gonna watch I think I'm gonna watch Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's video about it.
Okay. Because I'm curious.
So, I'll go to Dr. T. If you want to watch something about Kevin, you should watch probably go to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's channel and watch a eulogy about Kevin.
I'll check it out, because I do want to see what was, what's going on. But again, I can't watch it from the perspective of somebody celebrating that he's going. Even if you didn't agree with him, death is final, right?
Yeah.
Like, to celebrate that somebody is dead because you didn't appreciate things that they said is nuts to me. It shows how wicked and small-minded people are. It makes me just really not like people sometimes. It really does. It's hard. It's hard to love us sometimes. It really is. But Black, thank you so much for doing this with me today. I appreciate you. This is great conversation. And I want to send you the book that Curtis sent me so that you could check it out. And then I want to get your thoughts on it. So hit me back and let me know what you thought about it. So thank you for joining us for this episode of The Add-On. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next week. Shalom.
All right, these people.
Bringing out the fire, all praise to the one true God, a higher, covered in the blood of his son, Yeshaya. Tap in the cipher, elevate your mind higher. We're gonna build so we could grow, so we could bond. Take a walk with us at the Add-On.